Welcome to the Student Locker demo account. The purpose of this demo account is allow you the opportunity to view the access that each and every one of my students has to their lesson content. I've built this website for my students to log in and privately review each lesson taken. While I could have just uploaded my students' videos to YouTube, I prefer that my students be able to share their lessons to the world only if my students want to. My 22 years plus of teaching experience has given me the ability to diagnose a golf swing and immediately establish a protocol for error correction. Additionally, my expertise with computerized video technology and your ability to go back time and time again to review each lesson is what I believe a true cornerstone to you making real, long-lasting improvements to your golf game. Let's take a quick look at a sample of how I utilize this technology during a golf lesson. I'm going to go ahead and stop frame this to the very beginning of the sequence. The first thing that you'll notice is that I use two camera viewpoints, a down-the-line viewpoint on the left and a face-on viewpoint on the right. This is pretty standard with regard to video instruction. The difference in my setup is that I use two cameras. I don't move cameras during our session to capture two different viewpoints. I think this is important because I don't want to waste time in our 30 minutes moving cameras, and additionally I want to be able to capture one swing with multiple viewpoints, not two swings with one viewpoint. What I'll do now is just show you how I use the technology to draw some graphics. When you come out and take your lesson with me, you're going to hear a lot about red and green lines. Now certainly this is the upper plane and the lower plane, but in terms of you remembering what we're talking about, you're going to always remember what Michael talked about in terms of the red line or the green line. From the face-on perspective, you'll notice I use different colors as well. I always try to use different colors with my graphics, so once again, when you leave the lesson, you will remember exactly what we talked about relative to the colors, rather than just saying, what did he say? I'm now going to go to a single camera perspective. This is a down-the-line perspective. From this perspective, I do about 80 to 85% of my instruction. I can identify most of the key areas of your golf swing just by using this viewpoint. As you can see, if I go and utilize the technology at full swing capacity, it's very difficult to see the club head and the movement of the body at full speed. But with the technology, we can actually slow things down. This is a slow motion of the same swing. Or we could go even a little bit slower. Same swing, just a little slower. Now, not only can I use slow motion, but I can also move frame by frame. So I'm going to manually move this in positions. So you can see we can go back, we can go forward. We can easily identify key positions to your golf swing. What I'd like to show you now is one of the key methodologies to learning. That's called the compare and contrast model. When using the compare and contrast learning protocol, we're looking for a model that similarly represents our own physique. On the right you see Nick Faldo, on the left you see me. Nick Faldo stands at approximately just under 6'3". I am just under 6'2", so this is a fair representation of our model golfer. I'll quickly go through how we use a compare and contrast just to show you how it helps the learning process. What I've done is I brought my swing to a key point in the takeaway. It's key for me because I want to make sure that I keep the club head outside my hands on the takeaway. Now, comparing Nick Faldo to my golf swing, you can see that Nick Faldo has his club on the outside of his hands on the takeaway. As we get into the downswing, you'll notice that our clubs are very similarly on plane here, and our right elbows are similarly tucked. As we move a little farther down, you'll notice that my golf club head and shaft are completely on plane, much like Nick Faldo's. As I move now to strike the golf ball, you'll see that my club head pretty much stays on this green line the entire route down through the impact and through the follow-through. That is an on-path, on-plane golf swing. Take a quick look at Nick Faldo, and again you see the same feature of his golf swing where the club head comes down the line and releases up the line on the other side. I gotta believe Nick Faldo modeled his swing after mine. So that's a quick idea of using the compare and contrast model. Obviously, I'm not going to use somebody like the walrus, Kevin Stadler, for my compare-contrast model. We're built completely different. We're going to swing completely different. But somebody similar in build, like Nick Faldo, very good compare and contrast model for learning. Let's take a look at another helpful learning tool, which is the before and the after. While the compare and contrast model is pretty obvious when you see differences or similarities in a golf swing, the before and the after model is a little harder to identify those similarities or differences. If we lock these two swings down and just let the video take place, one more time, real speed. There we go. While these two swings real speed may have looked very similar, they are actually very different. The first thing you'll notice is a key difference in the takeaway. This club is a little inside, or actually probably what would be considered textbook. But that's not how I like to swing. I like to keep the club on the outside of the hands. So consequently for me, although this is not textbook, this is a better swing. These are both 7-irons, and the one on the left, the before, you can see that this is a little shorter backswing than the one on the right, the after. That's a little bit different. And again, the one on the left, you can see the downswing is coming slightly to the inside. You can see how that club head is coming back in that green circle right next to the line, and you can see it on the green line as it enters the hitting area. The one on the left, the right, the after, stays above the green line, which is where I like to swing the golf club, directly on path. At full speed, you may not have noticed that the before, the release is above the plane line, but yet the after, the release is below the plane line. These are all things that the technology allows us to help you with in terms of identifying the issues of your golf swing and making your swing better. Okay, let's take a look at the finish on both swings. If you're interested in becoming a more consistent ball striker, I can help. When you log out from this demo account video, you're going to be taken to a page that has a big green button in the middle of the page. Click on that button and it'll take you to Schedule Lessons link, and you can schedule your lessons online. Once you've scheduled that lesson, you'll receive a confirmation of that scheduled lesson, and one day before the lesson, you'll receive another confirmation reminding you that you have a lesson scheduled with me. I look forward to seeing you, and I hope you found this demo enjoyable. Thank you.